Good evening, ladies and gents. If you can hear my voice, please do raise your hand on the Zoom application so that we know that we're in business. That is awesome. I am going to share my screen in just a bit. There you go. Sorry, if you can see my screen again, please do raise your hand on the Zoom application so we can see that we're in business. Yes, we are. Evening, ladies and gents. Njabulo Nsibande here. This is 7 July 2021. Follow the Trader Series. Simon Brown will not be joining us today because he's doing an interview for his radio show on the Money Web. He did want me to inform you guys that he is in a NASDAQ 100 position where he opened at 13,752.21 and he's currently sitting with a profit of $336 and a couple 22 cents there, and that's the only position he has on the market at the moment. If you remember well, he's trading the 721 system on the 721 system on the global indices. So I got stopped on a couple of trades. I got stopped on I got stopped today on Ballo World on that on that sell off there. My stop loss was just below that low there. So I got stopped there. I suspect that the stock will come back to test that 200 period exponential moving average. Sorry, let me just, I just want to get my Q&A and the chat box where I can see them. So guys, feel free to pop questions. If they're not time sensitive, I'll get them to the end. But if they are specific to the chart what we're looking at, I'll answer them right away. So just feel free to pop them up on the Q&A box or on the chat. So yeah, as I was saying, I got stopped on Ballo. I'm suspecting that it's going to come back to test the 200 period exponential moving average. However, if you do look at the on the bearish side, as it were, you can see a head and shoulders pattern forming there. But in the face of a bull market, that doesn't overly concern me much. So as it is, I want to close back above that 50 period exponential moving average. So I want to close back above that 107 27 cents, and then I'll jump back into the position. But if it falls further, I'll be happy with a close above that 101 bucks level, close back above 100 bucks 101 level with a stop loss where the market will give me. I do suspect that 93 will probably be a stop, or somewhere around the 90s will probably be my stop loss, depending on how far the market pulls down. And then I did an erroneous exit on Monday. I accidentally closed the position. I wasn't supposed to, and that's fine. Trading mistakes happen from time to time. And, I was waiting for a close through that 385 level to add to the position and throw my stop to that 386 level. Now it's going to be a new position. And the fact that the re-entry happened on the same day as the accidental exit is neither here nor there. This is a brand new trade. Had the market not closed above 385, I would not have, and I'm going to be entering the position tomorrow. But if it did not close above that position, I was just going to let that trading error be. I also got stopped on Monday on Telkom. I had my stop loss just below the 50 period exponential moving average. So now I got stopped, but not too worried in that position. But if I can get a close back above that 50 period exponential moving average, I'll be jumping back into this trade as we would be moving back into a higher box. And that's pretty much it. So looking back into pretty much it in terms of close position. Looking into, let me just do that. That's much better. Looking into open positions, we can see a bearish flag formation on APSA. I got triggered on that break there on the close above that that level there. As you can see, that doji there. In any case, so the stock is currently battling with that 50-period exponential moving average, and now trading below the support line of the that bearish flag, which is quite worrying. Seeing that the breakout of the bearish flag was with a bearish engulfing candle, and the stock's struggling to leave that 50-period exponential moving average behind. So if the market takes out that low there, I want to be out of that position. I do suspect that if it takes out that low, we could be seeing the stock coming back to test that 200-period exponential moving average, in which case I will be looking to for a trade back. I'll be out of the position and look for a re-entry, or perhaps coming back to test that prior resistance. Perhaps it could hold down somewhere here around the 200-period moving 200-day exponential moving average as support somewhere later in the future, unless of course it doesn't. The Aspen, I got stopped in this position and jumped back in on Aspen, starting to show some strength again. As you can see, holding that 50-day exponential moving average as support, which is quite strong. So now I'm still waiting for that close above 167.80 on Aspen. Now then I'll trail my stop to just below that 50-period exponential moving average around that 158.76 level, and add to the position on Aspen. Astral Foods, I'm looking for a break back above that 159 level, 150 159 level, to add to the position with a stop loss just below the I'm seeing you guys are raising hand. I'm not 100% sure what that means. I'm not sure if you guys can hear me. Can someone just pop a message on the Q&A or on the chat box, just if you can guys see my screen or hear me, because I keep seeing hands being raised. So I take it you guys can hear my voice and can see the screen. So yeah, waiting for that break above that 159 level with a stop loss just below those lows there. Perhaps that 50-period exponential moving average would have caught up as well. So around that 150 level, I'll be looking to place my stop next. Barloworld. Oh, thank you very much, Nontando. So Barloworld broke, rather BHP looking quite well, holding that 50-period exponential moving average that jumped into the trade on the close above that candle, above that high close there, had the strong resistance there. Looking quite decent, holding that 50-period exponential moving average. So if we can get through 444, I'll be adding to the position and trailing my stop loss just below that 50-period exponential moving average. Guys, you would note that I placed my stop loss before the action that or the price action that triggers me to pull my stop or to enter into a position before that action happens, and that's because I want to know where I'm going to be exiting on a position before I even enter the position. So this pattern, I do it even on the stocks that I'm not in. I just place stops before entering the position. So stop loss is the first player on my team sheet. So before I know where I'm going to enter into the trade, I want to know where I'm getting out. I just thought it's something worth mentioning there. Bidvest holding that 50-day exponential moving average quite well after that recent sell-off of a couple of weeks ago, looking fairly decent. One could say that I close above that 191 would be a nice entry, seeing that it's holding quite well as as a resistance even today. There was still quite a bit of selling at that 191 level. However, I do have a position slightly higher from that level, so I will not be adding to a losing position, because adding to a losing position is one way of losing an infinite amount of money in the markets. So I only buy on the way up. You'll notice that all my buys are higher than the previous buy. Richmond looking quite well. Even through that the recent sell-off of the couple of weeks ago, it's just almost saying to the market, you guys can go down. I'll wait for you. Consolidating on a sideways pattern rather than going coming down to test that 50-period exponential moving average or the 200-day exponential moving average. So I'm liking that quite a bit. So with a close above at 177 level, 177.30, 177.40, I'll be adding to my position with a stop loss just below that traffic there around that's 170, 168, 169 levels there on Richmond. Clicks moving quite strongly today. I did so my initially my stop loss was just below the traffic there. I moved it up a little bit as we broke that level there. I will only be adding into this position on a break above the 263, and that's because the stock is still in a sideways a consolidating pattern. So I'll just raise my stop up a little bit, just below the 200-day exponential moving average. So with a close above 263, I'll be looking to add it to the position. Ultimately, with a close above the 277 level, I'll add again to the position. Discount looking quite well. Yesterday we had a nice bullish engulfing candle with a follow through today, looking fairly decent. I entered on when we got a close above there. I had an alert that if we get a close above that high close there of 32 8 cents, I'll add to the position. We got that, and we had quite a few days of selling, but yesterday we had a nice bullish engulfing candle. So if we can get a close through the 32 rand level, I'll be fairly comfortable and happy with that position. But I'm now looking for a close above the 34 rand level to add to my position, and because I have a sliding scale on when adding to positions. So once I get into plus 10% profitability on the trade, which was the case with Discam, my risk my risk on the subsequent trade, or when I'm adding to the position, I increase that position to a 2% position instead of 1%, and when we get above the 20%, it increases to 3%. And then 30 to 4, and above 40%, I cap it at 5%. So in this case, the last entry was a 2% trade. So that means that I can no longer take a trade unless my stop loss is above that last entry. So once I start to activate that sliding scale, subsequent entries can only happen once we trade above. Once the stop loss is above that last entry, or at least at the same level. A similar story with Distal. So that last entry that I had there was a 5% position because my profits on Nico, I'm seeing you raising a hand. If you have a question, please pop it on the Q&A box or on the chat box, and I will happily answer. If it's specific to the chart, I'll answer it immediately. But if it's not time sensitive, I'll park it to the end. So yeah, with Distal, my profit is in slightly above, is above slightly just a little bit higher than 40%. So I'm sitting at about plus 40% profit on Distal should my stop be hit. So if like I said, if we get a close above that 172.75 level, I'll just trail my stop to 162 without adding to the position until we get my stop losses above that last entry point. So for now, I'm looking forward to add to the position. I'm looking for a close above that 180.43 level, and I'm getting that if we move back higher, if we move back to that's the next level that held as resistance back. I believe, yeah. In fact, I should be pulling it slightly there at 179. So if I can get a close through 179 or 180 rather, I'll be adding to my position, trailing my stop, probably to break even or slightly higher. And I'll be putting in again a 5% position. And towards the end, I'll touch on as to the impact that that style of sliding scale has on the bottom line in just a bit. Exaro still handling that dividend payoff of the after I paid that giant dividend, still moving quite nicely. So I wanted to close above that 170 level. If we get a close above that 170 level, I'll pull my stop to 161, and I'll start adding back to the position with to get a close through that 182 level, 182.77 cents level. For now, I'm just managing this risk. So sitting at about a 4% risk, which is quite giant for me. But if I trail my stop to that 161.45 level, that risk reduces to slightly to about 2.5%, which is much better than 4. Yeah, so but I'm not in a hurry, so I'll just wait for the close above 72 rand there. For Shini, still on that consolidation pattern there. As you can see, I believe, okay, let me just quickly remove all these tools. What you can note here is a symmetrical triangle pattern, breaking out, looking like it wants to break out. Pull that down there. So we have a nice symmetrical triangle pattern forming there on Foschini. So with a breakthrough there, you can my stop is just below the triangle there. But if you can get a close through that 163 level, I'll add to the position, trailing my stop to just below that that last low of the symmetrical triangle pattern there. One thing to note about the symmetrical triangle pattern, it typically it has to break out 2/3 of the way in. If you project the support and resistance of the symmetrical triangle pattern into an apex point, the breakout should happen 2/3 on the way in. If it extends more, there's a good chance that it will break on the lower side than on the upper side. But that's not a certainty or a guarantee. It's just as the stock stays in the symmetrical pattern, the probability of it breaking to the lower side goes higher, and if it breaks out a little bit earlier, the probability of that trade playing out is higher as well. So Glencore, looking fairly well with that breakout of that bullish flag there, holding above that 50-period exponential moving average, even with that bearish engulfing candle of yesterday, holding that 50-day exponential moving average, kept higher, on at the open today, it had the gap and drive, without closing that gap in the morning, which is quite well. If we can get a close through above that resistance level at above, call it 6350. If we can get through that one, or add to the position and pull it ever so slightly just below the 50-day exponential moving average to 6020. Growth point, seemingly unfazed by the president's address, which I quite like a bit. With a strong breakout there, it looks like the market has already priced in all the lockdown. Has priced in all the lockdowns on these property stocks. So if we can now get a close through that resistance of 1572, I'll look to add again to the position, trailing my stop to that 14 Rand 96, 14 Rand 70 on growth point, blacking growth point quite a bit at the moment. Imperial, going nowhere slowly, came bitterly close to stopping me out, a few rands or a few cents, a couple of cents, about 30-40 cents odd, from stopping me out. We'll see how it holds up against that 50-day exponential moving average as it trades towards it. But ultimately, I'm looking for a close about that 51.55 to add again to my position. Investec, quite a bit of selling off that happened the past couple of weeks on Investec, but that 50-day exponential moving average still seems to hold. So if we can get through that 58 Rand level, I'll add to my position, trailing my stop to that 53 Rand 70 odd level on the Investec. I'm liking Investec quite a bit. I did run the trend up there, taking about, I think it was about 3 or 4% profit there, which was quite decent. Kumba looking fairly well, holding that 682 resistance level, in recent times. So with a breakthrough there, I'll be looking to trail my stop and adding to the position, perhaps to just below the 50-day exponential movement average. But if we can get it close through that 1716, that will be much better on Kumba. Life Healthcare, holding that 50-day exponential moving average and starting to move, higher. So if you can get a close through that 23 Rand 42 cents, I'll be adding to my position with a stop loss just below that 50-day exponential moving average. And again, if we can get through, the 25 Rand level, I'll add again to the position. MTN Group still going nowhere slowly, but that 50-day exponential moving average still holding quite well. Stock staying on the right side of the 50-period exponential moving average. The doji looks like it's still playing out quite nicely. I want to close above that 108.85 level to add to my position and show my stop ever so slightly behind me. Nedbank also looking quite decent. I'm looking for a close through that 171 level to add to the position and throw my stop to that 162 level, or perhaps to that 160 level, just to give it a slight bit more room, to give the stock a little bit more room to pull back and sell off and that sort of thing. But if we can get through that's 171 level and some change, I'll be adding to the position and trailing my stop behind me. Next is, where are we? Nedbank. Next is Pepco. Also, Pepco looking quite well, consolidating on a sideways pattern, then going down. Looks like there's quite a fair bit of buying into the stock. So if you can get through the 20 Rand 91 level, 21.91. Yes, 21.92. I'll be adding to my position, trailing my stop to around that 19.50. On the stock. I'm sitting on quite some decent profits there. I'm liking the stock quite a bit as well. Well, Bafokeng, looking quite well. I pulled my stop just before we got on today to that 97 Rand 50, just below the low of that candle there. So I'll be adding to my position. As you can see now, my risk on the trade is 21 Rand. So I'll take my 1% and subtract the 21 Rand and calculate my position size and add to the position. And then I'll be buying. I'll be adding to the position, and then ultimately I'll add again to the position if we can get through that 180 level on Real Bafokeng. ShopRite moving quite nicely, moving quite strongly, forming that cup and handle pattern, classic cup and handle pattern, retracing about 2/3 of the previous rally. If you can see here, it retraced about 2/3 of that previous rally, forming that cup there. So now I'm late. I'm waiting for a breakthrough. There was quite a bit of temptation to to add to the position as we were breaking through that level there. But ultimately, I just want to because I do have quite a position here. So if you can get through that 162, I'll add to. I'll add to the position and trail my stop behind me, perhaps to around that 152 level, just below that 50-day exponential moving average. I am liking ShopRite quite a bit. So perhaps maybe over the next couple of days, we could see the stock break through that 162. If not, we could probably see the stock holding that 50-day exponential moving average. Proxtension Capital, looking fairly well. I'm still waiting. Looks like there's still quite a bit of selling there at the 38.40 level. So if you can get through that level, I'll add to my position and trail my stop behind me. Initially, I had my stop to my initial stop that I had prepared got taken off, so I removed that line. So initially I had it to be just below there, and the candle took it out. So yeah, we'll see again. Perhaps I can pull my stop to the 35 Rand level, or to just below that, this candle here. But I'll see in between now and then, between now and the close above the 38 Rand 40 cents level on Transaction Capital. And similarly, as you can see, my style of buying is on the way up. I first bought the stock around 24 Rand, and it's about 40% higher since I bought it. I first bought it. My next buy should be higher than the my next buy should be higher than the previous buy. Truworths, looking fairly well. I want it back above the 58 Rand level, and then I'll add to the position with a stop loss just below to just below that sell-off there. So yeah, with a close above that 58 Rand 11 cents, I'll be adding to the position. Okay, I'll get into Anonymous in just a sec. Lastly is Woolies, waiting for a breakthrough that 55 Rand 77 cents. Looks like there was quite a bit of selling there at that price. But the stock holding that 50-day exponential moving average quite well. So if you can get through that 55 Rand and some change, I'll be adding to my position and pull my stop to that 52 Rand and some change level. So that was the last of it. So Anonymous is asking if Anonymous is asking if the platform allows me to enter multiple positions at different price points. Yes, the platform allows me to enter multiple positions, even though they track them as separate trades on the trade registry. But when I keep my journal, let me just quickly pull it up. Just a sec. Get it. Let's just do this. There you go. Cool. Just maximize that. Let me just hide those for now. Where's the hide button? Yeah, let me hide. So you note that I have an average purchase price, or rather an average entry price. So I have to keep track of my average entry price on the, oh, by the way, you can grab yourself a copy. It will be on the description on the video on YouTube. The video will be up quite straight few hours after this. So I have to keep track of my average entry with each and every position that I have, and also the total quantity of each and every, when I put all these trades together, the total quantity that I have in the position. And I always have the same stops for all positions on the stock. Each and every entry has this exact same stop on the entry. So I know that when my stop is hit, all the positions will get taken out at the market. And I have a risk per share tracker. So I know that for example on Bitcop, I am I have a risk per share of R2.45 on Bitvest, on R2 10 cent. I know that on Richmond I have I'm sitting on a slight profit of R1.25, 125 per share. On Discam I'm sitting at about and so on and so forth. And also I do have the what would happen if my stop loss gets hit. So my current risk on the on all the positions individually, and the sum total of that risk at the moment, I'm sitting with a plus. So if all my stops get hit tomorrow at the open, notwithstanding slippage and that sort of thing, I'll have a 64% and some change profit there, notwithstanding, of course, swaps that I incurred and the slippages that may happen. And I have a column for dividends, and this is a percentage of the current balance. And also this risk is based on the current balance. So my risk per trade will change as the balance moves up and down. So if the money goes, if maybe I close a profitable trade, the risk would go higher and the profit would go lower. And similarly, if I lose money a little bit, it will reflect a higher risk on the losing trade, and a higher profit on the winning trades. I hope that does answer you, the Anonymous. Guys, I'm not seeing any more questions. If you do have any, do pop them up on the Q&A box. Just to stocks that are on that I'm going to be buying tomorrow. I'm going to be buying myself in Platts. When we had that nice strong breakout there, so I'll be entering that position tomorrow. At the market open, I'm going to be buying myself 0.4 shares. Another thing that you can buy fractions on the Think Trader platform. So I'll be buying 0.4 shares with a stop loss there out of 1634, and I'll also be buying First Rand I'll also be buying first when it had a nice breakout today. I'm going to be buying myself 17.2 shares on first rand. I could, if you guys want, quickly show you how that's calculated. So let's come back here. The entry on, so I take the today's close as my assumed entry point, notwithstanding slippage, and if the market will jump, will gap up and down in the morning. So so I will take that 54.96 level and come here to on my journal. There's a risk calculator, and you would note that the balance is 6,458, which is updated daily. The balance is tracked here. Then it was 54.96, I believe. Yeah, so I'll put 54.96, and with a stop loss of 50 rand 80, and I don't have a current risk on the trade. If I had a current risk, I'll put that risk there to subtract it, and I'm getting myself 15.5 shares instead of 17. When I was calculating earlier, I had forgotten to update the account balance, since I took a loss there. So I'll be buying myself 15.5 shares with a stop loss of there of 50 rand 80. So yeah, if you want the spreadsheet, you can find it there on the description on the video on YouTube. I also do my market scans, by the way, every morning. So the videos are on YouTube. You guys can subscribe on the Village Trader ZA YouTube channel. So there's quickly, before I get to the chat request, I'm seeing them, guys. I'm not ignoring them. Impala as well. Nice breakout there, closing above that 50-day exponential moving average. On Impala, so I'll enter the position tomorrow on Impala with a stop loss there of 230 as the stock breaks back above that level there. So Notando is asking my stop loss level on Impala. My stop loss will be 230.25 cents, but I will be taking that trade first thing at the market open tomorrow. The next position I'll be entering tomorrow is Mondi, the one that I had a trading error on. So I'll be adding back to the position with a stop loss there, 386. And lastly, I'll be buying myself some Northern Plat. We had a nice breakout of that head and shoulders pattern. Finally, the stock winning the day above that 50-period exponential moving average with a stop loss just below the right shoulder at 211.40. So yeah, Notando, my stop loss will be on Impala that 230.25 cents. Okay. Lucky is asking which broker would I recommend for shares. I'm not for trading equities. Think Trader. I would recommend this platform, Think Trader, because as you can see here on that on the commission column, it's 0. That's because they charge 0 columns. And as you can see, some of the positions, I mentioned earlier that I'm going to buy myself 0.4 shares of implants, and that's because they can trade in fractions. As you can see here, I bought myself 3.2, 4.2, so that's possible. And lastly, they don't charge any there's no minimum transaction fees on this platform. So I would recommend Think Trader, but for investment purposes, I would also recommend the Think Markets. and easy equities if you want to invest in equities. Hope that it helps there, Lucky. Loretta is asking for AVI. Let's quickly have a quick gander at AVI. So I don't know how you trade, but I don't trade stocks that have a 50-day exponential moving average below the 200-day exponential moving average. Also, the price needs to be above the 200-day exponential moving average. So I don't, I would personally, and I don't trade on the short side. So if I were to trade this, I would trade it on the short side, perhaps looking for a break below. What's happening? Just a bit, just a sec. Let me get my horizontal ray. I would short it below 70 Rand and some change, but I personally don't short stocks, and I would not go long a stock that has a 50-day exponential moving average below the 200-day exponential moving average and the price below the 200-day exponential moving average. I want that wind behind. I want that wind at the back. So Marlo is Remgro, is looking for Remgro. I'm actually waiting for I have an alert on Remgro. I want to close above that candle, and I'm like above this candle. Let me see what's that close. The close was 116.37, so I want to close above 116.37, and we're quite close. We did trade above that level today, but we closed below it, and that 50-day exponential moving average looking quite well. And as you would note that I'm not in the trade as yet, but I already have my stop in. So if when I jump into the trade, I know where my stop is, and I'll just take my entry price and calculate my risk on the trade. So yeah, with a close above that 116.37, I'm liking Remgro quite a bit, with a stop loss there around 111, just below that kangaroo tail there. Yeah, guys, I'm not seeing questions. So yeah, I do a full market scan. I go through all these stocks every morning. The videos are up on YouTube. I also do videos as I'm entering positions and scanning through my open positions. Those videos are up on YouTube. You guys can check them out on the Village Trader YouTube channel. The link to the channel is also on the reminder email that you get just before coming on the webinar. Guys, I'm not seeing questions or chat requests. If there aren't any, we can park it here. So cool, we can park it here. Guys, do forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel with Nico. If you have a question, you can pop them in the chat or the Q&A. I can see you raising a hand there. Otherwise, yeah, guys, do remember to that my YouTube channel name is Village Trader ZA. That's on YouTube. Yeah, Village Trader ZA. We can quickly have a quick gander. See so that you can see it. Yeah, we'll see by the logo there, it's the Village Trader ZA. So I have practice videos that I do. I have a full market scan every morning. I try to publish them just before the open. Around early, I upload the video quite early in the morning. So yeah, you guys can check that out. Yeah, do subscribe, hit the bell notification so that that you have a reminder every morning with the full market scan. And again, once I'm done entering positions, you can get that reminder as well. do drop likes as well on the video on the videos to support. And also the video to this will be up on YouTube quite soon. Yeah, otherwise, guys, we can park it here and have a great evening, as I'm not seeing any more questions coming in. Guys, have a great evening. We'll chat again next week. Otherwise, check the videos on YouTube. Cheers, guys.